Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Oh, make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son. Give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Oh, make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son. Give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Oh, make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son. Give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Oh, make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son. Give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Oh, make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son. Give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
No, don't want this.
Okay, we have swallow.
No, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
No, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
No, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
No, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
No, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
You want this?
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I would like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
This is too heavy for me, eh? I beg my son, give me 5 wraps of Honeywell wheat meal, eh? Now correct swallow.
Give me that Honeywell wheat too. And me too.
I want 6 wraps of Honeywell wheat.
Okay, we have swallow.
Oh, no, that's too heavy.
We also have wheat.
You mean Honeywell wheat meal?
Yes, Honeywell wheat meal.
Now that's something I'd like to have. Give me 3 wraps.
Make my 4.
In addition, it is being streamed live for the benefit of our shareholders and regulators who are not physically present. Before we proceed, please be informed that in the event of any technical issues which may prevent me from further participating in the meeting, the directors have nominated the Managing Director, Mr. Lanre Jayola, to chair the meeting in my stead, in line with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. May I please ask someone to lead us in a short opening prayer? One of the proxies, please.
Let us stand up for the opening prayer. In Jesus' name. Everlasting God, we thank you for the opportunity given to all of us to be here this morning. We thank you for the gift of life. Accept our thanks in Jesus' name. Everlasting God, we commit our meetings today into your care. We pray to you to come and be the chairman of today's meeting. And we pray that after today's meeting, we all have cause to glorify your holy name. In Jesus' mighty name I pray.
Thank you. Amen. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow shareholders, I would like to inform you about the safety measures we have implemented as a responsible corporate citizen due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, which poses a global health hazard and has necessitated the adoption of social distancing and restrictions on mass gatherings. The number of people present at this meeting is within the limits prescribed by the authorities. We have also taken precautionary steps, including the provision of sanitizers and masks, temperature screening, and ensuring social distancing between attendees. Furthermore, as an organization, we have implemented measures to ensure that our food products are manufactured under the strictest hygiene standards. I confirm that the Register of Directors shareholding is available for inspection by members in compliance with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, and that it can be examined at the registrar's table. I will now introduce to you the directors, company secretary, advisors, and representatives of the regulatory authorities. My name is Oba Otudeko, chairman of the board. Seated in the hall are the managing director, Mr. Lanre Jayola, and the company secretary, Mrs. Yewande Giwa. In view of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, our other directors are viewing proceedings remotely. And for recognition, they are Mr. Alampama, Mr. Obafemi Otudeko, Mr. Oluranti Shokunbi, Mrs. Wonuola Adetayo, Dr. Raymond Zupo, Mr. Andrew Smith Maxwell, and Dr. Nino Ozara. I would also like to introduce and welcome to the meeting the shareholders' representatives of the Statutory Audit Committee, Mr. Adebayo Adeleke and Mrs. Murenike Omilabu. Fellow shareholders, I regret to announce the recent demise of the third representative, Mr. Emmanuel Omole, who passed on after a brief illness recently. May I please ask that we stand up for a minute silence in memory of late Mr. Omole. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Please let us sit down. I also welcome the company's registrars, First Registrars and Investor Services Limited, represented here by Mr. Bayo Olugbemi. Thank you. The company's independent auditor, Baker Tilly Nigeria, they are represented by Mr. Mark Aremudiho. Thank you. Thank you very much. The representative of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mr. Adeyemi Adewoyi, and the shareholders present, who in addition to the managing director, are all acting as proxies for the shareholders who cannot be physically present. And these representatives are Sir Sonny Nwosu, Chief Timothy Adesina, and Mrs. Bisi Bakari, who said the opening prayer. I also saw a representative from the NSC here. Thank you. You are welcome. May I now call upon the company secretary, Mrs. Iwande Giwa, who please read the notice convening this meeting. Mrs. Giwa.
Thank you, sir. Notice of 12th Annual General Meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 12th Annual General Meeting of Honeywell Flour Mills PLC will hold on Thursday, 14th October 2021 at the Civic Center, Ozumbambadiwe Street, Victoria Island, Lagos at 11 a.m. to transact the following business. Ordinary business, to receive the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2021, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee thereon. To declare a dividend, to re-elect directors, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors, to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company, to elect members of the audit committee. Special business, to renew the general mandate from shareholders, to allow the company to enter into transactions with related parties. Notes, compliance with COVID-19 directives and guidelines. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic and the consequential restriction on mass gatherings by the authorities, and in line with the CAC guidelines on holding AGMs by proxy, shareholders' attendance at the AGM shall only be by proxy. Proxies. A member of the company entitled to attend and vote at the meeting is advised to select from the following individuals a proxy to attend and vote in his or her stead. Mr. Olariwaju Chayola, Managing Director, Sir Sonimo Su, Minority Shareholder, Chief Timothy Adesina, Minority Shareholder, Mrs. Bisi Bakari, Minority Shareholder. A proxy form is attached to the annual report and accounts. It may also be downloaded on the company's website, honeywellflour.com. All instruments of proxy should be completed and deposited at the office of the company's registrars, First Registrars and Investor Services Limited, 2 Abebe Village Road, Igomu, Lagos, or via email to info@firstregistrarsnigeria.com, not later than 48 hours before the time fixed for the meeting. The company shall bear the cost for stamping of the duly completed and signed proxy forms submitted to the registrars within the stipulated time. Live streaming of meeting. The AGM will be streamed live on our corporate YouTube channel. The link to the channel will also be available on our website, honeywellflour.com. Closure of register of members and transfer books. The register of members and transfer books of the company will be closed from 6th to 10th September 2021, both days inclusive, for the purpose of updating the register of members. Proposed dividend and payment dates. The board of directors of the company has recommended a dividend of 7 kobo per share, payable less withholding tax. If approved at this meeting, the dividend will be paid on 14th October 2021 to shareholders whose names appear in the register of members as at 3rd September 2021. Unclaimed share certificates and dividend warrants. Shareholders are hereby informed that some share certificates and dividend warrants have been returned to the registrars as unclaimed. Any shareholder affected by this notice is advised to contact the company's registrars, First Registrars and Investor Services Limited, 2 Abebe Village Road, Igomu, Lagos, or via email at info@firstregistrarsnigeria.com. E-dividend registration. Pursuant to the directive of the Securities and Exchange Commission, shareholders are advised to open bank accounts, stockbroking accounts, and CSCS accounts for the purpose of receiving dividend payments electronically. A detachable e-mandate activation form is included in the annual report and is also available on the company's and registrar's websites. The completed forms should be deposited at the registrar's office at 2 Abebe Village Road, Igomu, Lagos, or via email at info@firstregistrarsnigeria.com. Nominations to the Audit Committee. In accordance with Section 404, subsection 6 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, a shareholder may nominate another shareholder as a member of the Audit Committee by giving notice in writing of such nomination to the Company Secretary at least 21 days before the annual general meeting. Section 404, subsection 5 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act stipulates that members of the audit committee should be financially literate. Consequently, a detailed CV confirming the nominee's qualification should be submitted with each nomination. Electronic annual report. The electronic version of the annual report will be available on our website and will be sent to shareholders who have provided their email addresses to the registrars. Shareholders who are interested in receiving the electronic version of the annual report should send a request to info@firstregistrarsnigeria.com. Rights of shareholders to ask questions. Shareholders have a right to ask questions not only at the meeting, but also in writing prior to the meeting. Such written questions should be addressed to the company secretary and submitted to the company's premises or via email at hfmp@honeywellflower.com, not later than 12th October 2021. Dated the 22nd day of 2021, by order of the board, Yewande Giwa, Company Secretary.
Thank you, Company Secretary. I now call on representative of the in view of the approval granted by the Corporate Affairs Commission for the AGM to be held by proxy, I now invite the registrars to provide the proxy report. Registrars, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Good morning, the Board of Directors of Honeywell Flower Mill PSC, the esteemed shareholders, ladies and gentlemen. We received 128 valid proxy forms with a total unit of 6,308,060,845 units. This represents 79.5% of the paid-up capital of Honeywell Flower Mill PSC. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yaya Lawal. May I now invite the representative of the independent auditor, Bekatili Nigeria, to read the auditor's report, which has been circulated to members with the accounts for the year ended 31st March 2021. Bekatili, the representative.
The chairman, sir, distinguished board members, and distinguished members of Honeywell Flower Mills PLC. The auditor's report is on pages 56 to 59 of the financial statements with you, and I read. Report of the independent auditors to the members of Honeywell Flower Mills PLC. Report on the audit of the financial statements. We have audited the financial statements of Honeywell Flower Mills PLC, that's the company, set out on pages 60 to 101, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31st of March 2021, and the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. Opinion. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view in all material respects of the financial position of Honeywell Flower Mills PLC as at 31st March 2021, and its financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards and the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements section of our report. We are independent of the company in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including International Independence Standards, Parts 1 and 3, IESBA Code, and other independence requirements applicable to performing audits of financial statements in Nigeria. We have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the IESBA code and in accordance with other ethical requirements applicable to performing audits in Nigeria. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of financial statements of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of financial statements as a whole and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. There was one key audit matter, which is borrowings. As at 31st March 2021, the company's total bank loans facility stood at 60.48 billion naira. We considered borrowing a key audit matter because of its materiality on the company's financial position as at 31st March 2021. How our audit addressed the key audit matter. We adopted a substantive test approach to check the correctness, completeness, and the figures of borrowings included in the financial statements. Specifically, we obtained and reviewed all existing loan covenants establishing the facilities. We reviewed all loans amortization schedule to ensure they are in agreement with the respective loan covenants. We reviewed all correspondences with the banks to establish communication around loan performances during the year. We reviewed loan repayments during the year to confirm that they agreed with the loan covenants and the relevant amortization schedules. We reviewed the appropriateness of the foreign exchange rate used in converting the foreign currency denominated facilities. We obtained an independent confirmation from the banks stating the balances and the status of the facilities at the year end. And we reviewed the disclosures on borrowings for reasonableness. Our audit test did not reveal any material misstatement. Other information. The directors are responsible for the other information. The other information comprises the information included in the document titled Honeywell Flour Mills PLC Financial Statements for the year ended 31st March 2021, which includes the director's report and the audit committee's report as required by the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and the detailed income statement, which we obtained prior to the date of this report. The other information does not include the financial statements, and our auditors report thereon. Our opinion on the financial statements does not cover the other information, and we do not express an audit opinion on any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements or our knowledge obtained in the audit or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. If, based on the work we performed, we conclude that there is a material misstatement of this other information, we are required to report that fact. We have nothing to report in this regard. Going concern. The company's financial statements have been prepared using the going concern basis of accounting. The use of this basis of accounting is appropriate unless management either intends to liquidate the company or to cease operations or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Management has not identified a material uncertainty that may cast significant doubt on the entity's ability to continue as a going concern, and accordingly, none is disclosed in the financial statements. Based on our audit of financial statements, we have also not identified such a material uncertainty. Responsibilities of the directors on the financial statements. The directors are responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with international financial reporting standards and the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. And for such internal control as the directors determine is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statements, the directors are responsible for assessing the company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters relating to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless the directors either intend to liquidate the company or to cease operations or have no realistic alternative but to do so. Auditor's responsibility for the audit of financial statements. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is high level of assurance, but it's not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with international standards on auditing will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in the aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with international standards on auditing, we exercised professional judgment and maintained professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that are reasonable and appropriate to provide a basis for opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than for one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. We obtained an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the company's internal control. We evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by the directors. We conclude on the appropriateness of the directors' use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the financial statements, or if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the company to cease to continue as a going concern. We evaluate the overall presentation structure and content of financial statements, including disclosures, and whether the financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieve fair presentation. We communicate with the directors regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identified during our audit. We also provide the directors with a statement that we have complied with the relevant ethical requirements regarding independence, and to communicate with them all relationships and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on our independence and, where applicable, related safeguards. From the matters communicated with the directors, we determined those matters that were of utmost significance in the audit of financial statements of the current year and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe these matters in our auditor's report unless law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matter, or when in extreme rare cases we determine that a matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequences of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest benefits of such communication. Report on other legal regulatory requirements. In accordance with Schedule 5 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we expressly state that, 1, we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept by the company so far as it appears from our examination of those books. And 3, the company's statement of financial position and income statement are in agreement with the books of accounts and returns. This report was signed by my humble self, Mark Arie Modrigo, on behalf of Bekatili Nigeria Chartered Accountants in Lagos, Nigeria on the 26th of May, 2021. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Mark, for a good job done. I also call on the chairman of the audit committee, Mr. Adebayo Adeleke, to please read the report of the audit committee, which has been circulated to members. Mr. Adebayo Adeleke, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the Board of Honeywell Flour Mills PLC, the Managing Director, distinguished shareholders, both present and online, and every other person, regulators, good morning. I stand to read the report of the Audit Committee, which is on page 55. In compliance with the provisions of Section 404, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we, the members of the Audit Committee of Honeywell Flour Mills PLC, received the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2001, together with management's control report from the external auditors and management responses thereto at a duly convened meeting of the committee, and hereby report as follows. We confirm that we reviewed the scope and planning of the audit requirements. We reviewed the external auditor's management control report together with the management responses, and we have ascertained that the accounting and reporting policies of the company for the year ended 31st March 2021 are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices. In our opinion, the scope and planning of the audit for the year ended 31st March 2021 was adequate, and management responses to the auditor's findings were satisfactory. We confirm that the internal control system was being consistently and effectively monitored through effective internal audit. The external auditors confirmed that they received full cooperation from the management during the course of the statutory audit. The committee, therefore, recommends that the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2021 and the external auditor's report thereon be presented for adoption at the annual general meeting, dated 23rd May 2021 and signed by my humble self on behalf of members of the Audit Committee. Other members who served during the year are Mrs. Morenike Umilabu, Mr. Theophilus Shokumbi, Mr. Andrew Smith Maxwell, Mrs. Wonola Adetayo, and late Pastor Emmanuel Omole. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adebayo Adeleke, Chairman of the Audit Committee. Fellow shareholders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the next item to be presented is my statement. In view of the need for brevity at this meeting, is it okay for me to assume that my statement is taken as read? Members' response. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please be informed that in the exercise of the powers conferred on me by the Companies and Allied Matters Act, I hereby call a poll on item 1 to 4 and 7 on the agenda. I will now invite the registrars to explain the process for voting. Registrars, please.
Thank you very much, the chairman. For the purpose of voting on each of the resolutions, I'm sure the shareholders are already having their device with them. Please ensure that your device, the screen of your device, is blank. If you are in favor of any resolution, you please press 1 on the device. If you are against any resolution, you press 2. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, registrars. Fellow shareholders, I now come to the first item on the agenda, which is to receive the audited financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st March 2021, and the reports of directors, auditors, and audit committee thereon. The reports and accounts have been circulated to all members in compliance with the statutory requirements, and I hereby move that the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee, together with the audited accounts for the financial year ended 31st March 2021, now submitted to this meeting, be and are hereby received. Will someone please second the motion? Yes, Mrs. The lady.
Thank you. My name is Mrs. Bakari Adebisi. I so do, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bisi Bakari. I now call for comments from members. May I advise that we please make use of the microphones when called upon to speak. Thank you very much. General comments from the floor. I can see Chief Sonny Nwosu. May I invite you, please? Sir Sonny Nwosu. Sir Sonny Nwosu.
He stepped out.
He's not there. I saw him.
He stepped out. He just stepped out.
He just
Okay,
stepped out.
can
And this
Mrs.
is
Bisi
Chief
Bakari
Additional.
take the mic? Mrs. Bisi Bakari, please take the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, regulators present, and management of Honeywell Flour Mills, my co-shareholders. Good morning. My name is Mrs. Bakari Adebisi. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to start my comments on page 44 of the annual report and accounts, where we have baking school. This basic baking school was established in 2006. This was about 15 years ago. This is highly commendable. So far, our company has trained over 600 bakers. I give kudos to the management of Honeywell Flour Mills for this achievement. I want to highly commend the organizer also for rearranging the classes to comply with COVID-19 protocols during the COVID pandemic. I commend the management for that also. Still on the same page, we have Ember monthly rally, month rally. This is also commendable, Mr. Chairman. But I want the management to look at this. I think we can extend this to other motor parks. We should not concentrate only on Ojota and My 2 park. We can do better by extending to other motor parks. If possible, even motor parks outside Lagos. Page 9. Page 9, our brands. Of course, looking at our brands, they are all good. They are all good. But I want the board to look into a new brand of oatmeal swallow. Of course, for now, we have for bulk foods, we have only Honeywell semolina and Honeywell wheat meal. I think if you can add oatmeal swallow, this will be very nice of Honeywell flour meals. Oatmeal swallow is very good for diabetes patients, so I want the management to look at it. That's what they call oatmeal swallow for other companies. So I want Honeywell flour mills to look at that. I can show sample to the MD when we are through. It's very nice also, because even some diabetes patients now, doctor advised them not to take wheat meal, so they recommend oatmeal swallow. Page 32. Page 32, under corporate governance reports. Looking at this, that is the attendance of statutory audit committee. I noticed that the statutory audit committee met 3 times during the year under review. This look abnormal because I think the audit committee, the statutory audit committee, supposed to meet at least 4 times in a year. Each quarter, they look at the accounts and approve. So I don't know why they only had 3 meetings. I want the company secretary to look at that. Page 49. Page 49, financial highlights. I want to give kudos to the board and management for this wonderful results, because I noticed that our revenue increased by 36% from 80.450 billion to 109.594. The same thing with our profit before taxation. This moved by 24% from 1.27 billion to 1.57 billion. The same thing to our profits after taxation, from 650.492 million to 1.125 billion. This is very good and is highly commendable. Mr. Chairman, we are happy with the dividend proposed of 7 kobo. But I noticed that I can see that our dividend policy is that when our earnings is, we divide our earnings. Last year, our earnings was 8 naira 18 kobo. You proposed 4 naira. This year, our earnings is 14 naira 20 kobo. You proposed 7 kobo. I think, Mr. Chairman, I want the board to look at our dividend policy. I would have appreciated it if our company give us 10 kobo dividend instead of 7 naira, 7 kobo dividend. I want the board to look at our dividend policy. Page 92. Page 92. Note 20. Operating expenses by nature. Mr. Chairman, I noticed that our delivery expenses moved from 1.954 billion to 2.628 billion, difference of 673.6 million. I want the management to look at that. The same thing on our bank charges. Mr. Chairman, I noticed that our bank charges moved from 87.590 million to 141.329 million. Looking at this, Mr. Chairman, I think the finance director or CFO, they need to sit down and look at this, at least to look at, to check the bank reconciliation on this, because I noticed that the difference between last year, 2019, and 2020 and 2021 for the bank charges is about 53.7 million. So I wonder why within a year that our bank charges move from 87.590 million to 141.329 million, difference of 53.7 million within a year. So this is worrisome. I want the management, the board and management to look at that, the bank charges. Again, traveling and accommodation expenses. Although the figure has come down from 377.1 million to 373.9 million, but can still go down. 373.9 million is on the high side, looking at the considering the situation of things in the country now, especially that when many companies are not traveling now. So I don't know why our traveling and accommodation expenses have to be 373 million. Lastly, I want to ask from MD that what measures has the executive management put in place to overcome the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on our business operations, i.e. challenges of forex, effect of inflation, and so on. Once again, thank you for the opportunity given to me.
Problem, and therefore it will seem to me that the connectivity with the chairman is being cut off. So in line with the plan that was read out at the beginning of this meeting, I will be standing in for the chairman. Thank you, Madam, for your very valuable comments and questions. May I request for a next shareholder who would like to make comments? Only one hand up. Okay, sir. Can you please proceed?
Thank you. Good morning, distinguished shareholders of Honeywell Flour Mills, the chairman, regulatory authority representatives present, and of course, my fellow shareholders. Good morning. My name is Chief Timothy Adeshinyo. By the grace of God, the immediate past president of Nigerian Shareholders Solidarity Association, I thank you for the opportunity given me to represent shareholders as a proxy at this meeting. Thank you very much. Is coming from page 57 of this annual report, and that is based on the comments or the report of the independent auditors. I'm happy to see the key audit matters.
Recording in progress.
the key audit matters presented by Mrs. Bekatili and Co., the auditors of our company, and how they have treated those items of key audit matter. I am highly impressed by the way they are treated. And in fact, I've dealt with Bekatili and Co. while they were auditing union homes before. Their reporting is always to the point. They say and report what they see. And I'm happy with the kind of reflection they have given on Honeywell flour mills in this report. In fact, I'm using this opportunity to call Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria to look into the choice of auditors in this country, insisting on the big four. Where will our children who qualify accountants, where will they work when you insist on only the big four? People like Bekatili are there, they are underused. So you should work on this. In this report, I will also like to draw the attention of members to page 13 of this annual report. On page 13, which is about the chairman's letter to all of us. It says, our aim is to offer a broader portfolio of food products manufactured from a wide range of raw materials drawn from local resources. This is a big move towards our transition on transformation and growth into our future name, Honeywell Foods. And by the special grace of God, we shall get there. If we are able to achieve this, our farmers will benefit from the use of our sorghum, from the use of our cassava, from the use of all other cereals which we produce in Nigeria, if these are converted into different kinds of foods as aimed by this company. We are also, I would like to refer you to page 14 of this same annual report, which says we are committed to investing in the capabilities we need, the know-how, and the talent to continue to create value. Anybody who knows our chairman, we know that all his aim is investment. And what is the aim of investment? The aim of investment is to grow. To grow. And while growing, the other people or Nigerians or human beings are benefiting from this kind of growth. All the investment funds will amount to things that will make positive effects on the lives of our Nigerian brothers. I also appreciate the contribution of Honeywell flour mills to the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The part they have played with Eco-Cares initiative, and which is an empowerment program for women, and also partnership with Federal Road Safety federal road safety, and also partnership with other state governments by donating foods to people who need them during the lockdown. We appreciate this very much. At the same time, I'm also appreciating the governance report of this company, because it is the governance report is splendid, and it takes proper care of good corporate governance, in which case the company is making its growth from the contributions of the various from the growth of the different aspects of the corporate governance report. And I see that all meetings are adequately and regularly attended. The board meetings were attended in full by members. The audit committee was fully attended, and the contributions are also enormous. I will also like to thank the board, staff, and management for the efforts you are making in developing the areas where you are located in the various locations which our companies are located, are benefiting, and the company is contributing towards the human development of the various communities. I will also like to thank the chairman for his assiduous efforts in growing the company and in bringing the Ford company forward. Mr. Olanrewaju Jayeola, the managing director, is trying his efforts, and his efforts are growing the company, and we have the belief that he will continue to harmonize the efforts of the other workers, about 2,000 of them that are working. And I'm happy with the progress which we are making at our Shagamu factory, which is producing also our noodles. Our pasta, we visited the factory about 3 years ago, and if you get there now, you will not know it's the same place you visited. It is actually turning out our products. And with the way this company is being developed, we are praying that God will strengthen the life of our chairman and all the directors, and the aim they have for this company to grow Nigeria and Nigerian citizens to benefit will be realized. Thank you. God bless you
all. We had technical issue, and thank you very much, Mr. Jayeola, for continuing. Are there any other proxies? Before we put the motion to vote, I would like to call on the Managing Director, Mr. Alanre Jayeola, to please respond to issues raised by members. The MD, please.
Mr. Chairman, sir, shareholders in attendance, regulatory authority, our friends, the external and head of the audit committee, distinguished gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I must thank everybody for turning up at this occasion. Particularly, I must thank the representatives of the shareholders. Your comments are well noted, and they will only challenge us to better performance levels. Quite apart from the comments we have listened to from representatives of shareholders in attendance, I must also mention that questions and comments were received from some other stakeholders through social media and through emails. Unfortunately, Sir Nwosu, who is also a representative of the shareholders, had to step out because he is involved in an investiture organized by the Institute of Directors. And he mentioned this to me before stepping out. Before he left, he also passed over to me some of the comments and questions which he had articulated in a mail which he forwarded to me. Quite a number of them. Some of those questions and comments have been echoed by the two representatives who spoke. Perhaps after addressing the comments by the two people who spoke, I will just run through some of his own contributions, and hopefully I'll be able to provide clarity to some of the areas that have been mentioned. Madam, let me start with Mr. Debisi, and thank you for your comments, your wonderful comments. It shows that you really took time to digest and review the annual report. The Baking School, yes, thank you. We'll continue to do our best. The reason behind this initiative is actually to upscale the technical knowledge of Nigerian bakers. We have identified a gap, and our objective is to close out this gap in support of the master bakers across the nation. And the turnout has actually been very, very interesting. We continue to be encouraged by their participation level from all over Nigeria, to a point that we are motivated. We are looking at expanding the facilities that we have so that we can increase the class size. Secondly, on the Ember Month campaign, you had requested that we hold this outside of Ojota Mile 2. I must say that we actually concurrently are running the same support service in Ijebu-Ode, in Shagamu, and I think one or two other locations concurrently. And we are doing this in partnership with Nigeria Road Safety Corps. So they designed the program. All we do is to support them and then to release all the materials and funding that are required for that purpose. Your comment on the oatmeal is noted. Honeywell Flour Mills is a research organization. We continue to leverage our knowledge in this field to expand our research in various areas, especially those areas that leverage local raw materials. And that we continue to do. Some of the initiatives that we have, we actually will not want to let out because they are still strategic at this point. Financial revenue up. Thank you for all the very warm comments on the performance for the period, especially considering the fact that we operated under a very, very tense environment. Extremely tense, I must say so. Your clamor for a better and improved dividend policy is noted, but a 75% increase over last year, I think, is also very well commendable. The delivery expenses which you observed went up is perhaps, all I would like to say here is that it is a fallout of the challenges that COVID-19 brought about. And I must say that operating out of Apapa and Tinkan in itself is a big challenge, and it's every day increasing our cost to serve customers. If I put it in this way, that between 2 years ago and now, our delivery costs have gone up by well over 100, in some areas 150% increase in delivery cost. That will give you an idea that even with the increasing cost of delivery across the nation, the increase you saw of 673 million is actually well managed. I must say that. Same thing goes to the bank charges. For the bank charges, you sounded a bit alarmed by the 53 million increase. When a project is concluded, all the funding cost of that project cease to be capitalized. They no longer go into the cost of the project. They now become period costs, which means you now have to charge them to P&L. And that's exactly what's playing out here. We finished Shagamu project. Those funding costs no longer qualify to be capitalized. And therefore, the P&L will have to take the shock of the cost of fund. The challenge to management is actually not lost on us, because we know that we really have to step up our game in order to be able to accommodate this increase in cost by quickly ensuring that we take capacity up in the plant and make it as profitable as it possibly can. This we are doing very well. COVID-19 challenges on Forex. This is perhaps one of the comments penciled down by Sir Nwosu also. Is interested in knowing what management is doing in order to manage the fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. You mentioned two key areas, challenges of Forex, and then the impact on inflation. And I dare say for us, perhaps two other areas that are even more important is the welfare and well-being of the workforce, and also the impact on our supply chain operations, because these two lie at the foundation of the survival of the business. So what we do is to put in place all necessary protocols that will enable us to survive as a people, first of all, and of course also to provide all required support for our staff, especially during the COVID period, at the peak of the COVID period. I recall we had to engage the services of Lagos State, these buses. We had to retain their services to convey staff across the state. And that really cost us quite a lot. Of course, also is the challenge around the supply chain. And this has a link with the cost of fund that you see, because of COVID, our inventory levels were taken up much higher than usual because of the challenges that the COVID pandemic brought about, truncating deliveries of essential spare parts and machinery to the factory. So the only way we could hedge the risk is to ensure that we planned the supplies ahead of time and increased our inventory levels. Therefore, if you look at the balance sheet, you'll probably see a slightly elevated inventory figure, which reflects all of the efforts that management put in place during this period. For Forex, this continues to be a big challenge, not only in the F&B industry, but also across the nation. I'm sure the only challenge is that it's more impactful on manufacturers, and being the real sector, the people who actually support government to create food safety and stability. It's important that we continue to parley with the central bank in order to secure the foreign exchange that we require to bring in essential materials and also to run the business effectively. So what we do now is to make sure that we intensify our relationship with Central Bank. We also ensure that by all means, we work with the Wheat Farmers Association of Nigeria to focus more on the local wheat cultivation in Nigeria so that our dependence on foreign exchange to bring in wheat is gradually minimized. So these are ways and means. But in the meantime, the only way we make up is to source the shortfall between what we get from CBN from the open market. And that has actually increased our cost of operation. So you will see a margin trend that is a bit unfortunate, if I can use that word, in the flour milling industry in Nigeria. Whereas before, average margin in the flour milling industry used to be between 17-18% industry average. Today, the industry average is a single digit. And that's very unfortunate. Therefore, if you have an average, a gross margin that's a single digit, it certainly, the bottom line will certainly not be comparable with what an investor will get if he puts its money in a money instrument like a treasury bill, which currently trends about 6.5%. So that's a big issue which business leaders in Nigeria have to contend with from time to time. Sir Adesina, I also appreciate all your comments. I think the auditors owe you some fees for that very warm, advertorial. Also the comments on the chairman's letter and your charge to the managing director, myself, and the entire team to continue to work together in order to improve the performance of the business over the years. This is what we have held ourselves out to do, and we continue to do this. Some of my colleagues are here in attendance. I won't ask for a better leadership team. These are people who have, over the years, made my role increasingly irrelevant. And that's the beauty of the formidable team that we have in Honeywell Flour Mills. So thank you very much. I will just also quickly touch on some of the comments sent in by some other shareholders. Sir Nwosu congratulates Dr. Ozara, who attained the age of retirement after 22 years in service and graciously stepped out. He also appreciates the quality of attendance at audit committee meetings. Just as Madam mentioned, he appreciates management for the support given during the COVID-19 pandemic. He particularly noted the board evaluation report, and he considers this as a very important aspect of the business. He admonishes that the gaps highlighted by the auditors should be carefully looked at and closed out by the board. This is well noted, and I'm sure that the chairman, the board ably led by the chairman, will look at all of those comments and work towards streamlining this. Another shareholder is interested in something similar to what Madam said, is commending the 36% increase in revenue and ability to recover debts. So by and large, I think I've been able to cover most of the comments and questions. But for us, it goes beyond the performance of this year. Our objective continues to provide shelf-stable, high-quality food products for the complete satisfaction of Nigerians. And in achieving this, we continue to expand our research and development efforts. In coming months, you will see the new innovations from the stable of Honeywell Flour Mills And I'm sure consumers will be even more delighted. Thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much, able Managing Director, Mr. Lanre Jayola. I will now put the motion to a vote. Fellow shareholders, you have 20 seconds to vote. May I please request that you cast your votes? Registrars, please. Manage the process.
Thank you, Chairman. Like I had mentioned earlier, for the purpose of voting on each of the resolution, you will press 1 if you are in favor of the resolution, while you press 2 if you are against. The resolution we are going to vote on now is to receive the audited financial statement and accompanying report. Just a minute. Resolution 1, please. Yes, if you are in favor of that resolution, please press 1 on your voting device. If you are against, please press 2. Voting has commenced. One shareholder has cast their phone. Gotten 5 responses already. Count down, please. Six seconds left. Seconds. Time up. Please display the result. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 133 shareholders physically present and voting by proxy, with the total shares of 8,608,691,845, 100%. No against. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, registrars. Congratulations to the shareholders. The motion has been carried unanimously. We now proceed to the second item on the agenda, which is the declaration of a dividend. And I hereby move that the final dividend of 7 kobo per share, subject to tax, be declared in respect of the year ended 31st March 2021 and made payable by the 14th of October 2021 to members whose names shall appear in the register of members as at the close of business on the 3rd of September 2021. Will someone please second the motion? Mr. Chief Timothy Adesina.
Sir, I so second, sir. Chief Timothy Adesina.
I know you would. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, because you're a good shareholder. I will now put the motion to a vote. You have 20 seconds to vote. Please, can you please cast your votes? Registrars to supervise.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. For the purpose of voting on that resolution, which is to declare a dividend, please press 1 if you are in favor, while you press 2 if you are against. Voting has commenced. We've gotten 4 responses. 4 responses. 5 responses. Count down, please. Three seconds left. Time up. Please display the result. At the end of the voting on that resolution, which is to declare a dividend, we have 133 shareholders physically present and voting by proxies, having a total shareholdings of 6,308,691,845 units, 100%, no dissenting voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, registrars. We now proceed to the next item, which is the re-election of retiring directors. In accordance with Articles 100 and 102 of the Articles of Association of our company, Mr. Alan Palmer, Mr. Oluranti Shokunbi, and Mrs. Wunuola Adetayo retired by rotation and being eligible offer themselves for re-election. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting? Thank you very much. I would like to call on a shareholder to please move as follows: that Mr. Alan Palmer, who having retired by rotation, being eligible and having offered himself for re-election, be re-elected as a director of the company.
Mrs. Bakari Adebisi, I move the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Will another shareholder please second the motion?
I, Chief Timothy Adesina, so second. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. May I now put the motion to a vote? You have 20 seconds to vote.
Thank you very much.
The registrar, please supervise the process.
Thank you very much, sir. For the purpose of voting on that resolution, which is to re-elect Mr. Alan Palmer, please press 1 on your device if you are for the resolution, while you press 2 if you are against. Poll has commenced. Four responses. 4 responses. 4 responses on that resolution. 5 responses. Count down. Time up. At the end of the voting on that resolution, which is to re-elect Mr. Alan Palmer, we have 133 shareholders physically present and voting by proxy, with the total shareholdings of 6,308,691,845 units, 100%, no against. Thank you very much.
Thank you, registrars. Would the shareholder please move as follows: that Mr. Oluranti Shokunbi, who having retired by rotation, being eligible and having offered himself for re-election, be re-elected as the director of the company.
My name is Sir Honeywell, so I move that motion.
Thank you. Would another shareholder please rise and second the motion?
Mrs. Bakari Adebisi, I second the motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Bakari. May I now put the motion to a vote?
Thank you very much.
I ask the registrars to please supervise the process.
Thank you very much, sir. If you are in favor of that resolution, which is to re-elect Mr. Oluranti Shokunbi, please press 1 on your voting device. If you are against that resolution, please press 2. 4 shareholders has 5 responses already. Count down, please. Three seconds left. Time up. At the end of the voting on that resolution, which is to re-elect Mr. Oluranti Shokunbi, we have 133 shareholders physically present and voting by proxy, with the total share of 6,308,691,845, 100%, no dissenting voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, registrars. I will now call on the shareholder to please move that Mrs. Wonola Adetayo, who having retired by rotation, being eligible and having offered herself for re-election, be re-elected as a director of the company. Will someone please move the motion?
Sir, I, Chief Timothy Adesina, moves.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Will another shareholder please second the motion?
Mr. Chairman, Sir Sonny Nwosu, I second the motion.
Thank you very much. May I invite the registrars to please supervise the process of voting?
Thank you very much, sir. We are in favor of that resolution, which is to re-elect Mrs. Wonola Adetayo. Please press 1. If you are against that resolution, press 2 on your voting device. Gotten 5 responses already. Calm down, please. Seconds left. Please display the results. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 133 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares of 6,308,691,845. 100%. No against. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very successful. The next item on the agenda is item 4, which is passing a resolution to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditor. I would like to ask a shareholder to formally propose as follows: that the remuneration and expenses of the company's auditor, Bigatili, Nigeria, be fixed by the directors in respect of the period ending at the conclusion of the next annual general meeting. I so move. Will a member please move? I would prefer that a member moves.
Sir Sonny Nwosu, I move that resolution.
Thank you. Will someone please second the motion?
Hi, Chief Timothy Adesina, so second.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions? I will now put the motion to a vote. May I call on the registrars to supervise the process?
Thank you very much, sir. We are in favor of that resolution, which is to authorize directors to fix the remuneration of the company's auditor. Press 1 on your voting device. If you are against, press 2. Thank you. Five responses already. Thank you. Calm down, please. 5 seconds left. Time up. Please display the results. At the end of the voting on that resolution, which is to authorize the director to fix the remuneration of the company's auditor, we have 133 shareholders voting by proxy and physically present, with the total shares holdings of 6,308,691,845. 100%. No against. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, registrars. We now move to item number 5 on our agenda, which is the disclosure of managers' remuneration. This disclosure is made on pages 93 and 94 of the annual report. And then we proceed to the next item, which is the resolution to elect members of the audit committee. The next item, which is the election of members of the audit committee, the Companies and Allied Matters Act provides that there shall be no right to demand a poll on the election of members of the audit committee. Thus, voting shall be done by the shareholders' proxies here present. In line with the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, Only 2 directors may now sit on the audit committee. The board of directors nominated the following directors as members of the committee: Mr. Andrew Smith Maxwell and Mrs. Wonuola Adetayo. From the shareholders, we received 5 valid nominations. The candidates are Adebayo Adetunji Adeleke, Morenike Abiola, Oriade Abiodun Job, Ibiyemi Oluwole Kolawole, Ogundipe John Afolabi. May I now call on the registrars to handle this part of the proceedings? FRIS, please.
Thank you very much, sir. For the purpose of voting on this resolution, is going to be by show of hand. The very first person that we are going to vote on for the purpose of audit committee is Mr. Adeleke Adebayo Adetunji. If you are in favor of Mr. Adeleke Adebayo Adetunji, please raise up your hand for counting. Thank you very much. The next person is Mrs. Omilabu Morenike Abiola. Thank you very much. The next person is Mrs. Oriade Abiodun Job. If you are voting for Mrs. Oriade Abiodun Job, please raise up your hand. Mrs. Oriade Abiodun Job. Okay, thank you. The next person is Mrs. Ibiyemi Oluwole Kolawole. Ibiyemi Oluwole Kolawole. If you are in favor of Mrs. Ibiyemi Oluwole Kolawole, raise up your hand. Thank you. Last person is Mr. Ogundipe John Afolabi. Ogundipe John Afolabi. Thank you very much. At the end of the voting, for the purpose of electing audit committee, we have for Mr. Adeleke Adebayo Adetunji, we have 11 votes. For Ms. Omilabu Morenike Abiola, 10 votes. Oriade Abiodun Job, no vote. Ibiyemi Oluwole Kolawole, no vote. Ogundipe John Afolabi, 4 votes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, registrars. I will now call on a member to move as follows: that pursuant to the provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, an audit committee of the company be and is hereby appointed with effect from today, 14th of October 2021, till the conclusion of the next annual general meeting. The following are to constitute the membership of the committee: Mr. Andrew Smith Maxwell, Mrs. Wonuola Adetayo, Mr. Adeleke, Mrs. Omilabu, and one more. Mr. John Afolabi Ogundigbe. Will a member please move that
My name
motion?
is Mrs. Bakari Adebisi. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I will now ask another shareholder to please second the motion.
Hi, Chief Timothy Adesina, so second.
Thank you. May I now put the motion to the meeting? Will the proxy in favor of the motion signify by raising their right hands? Thank you. Thank you. Will proxies against signify by raising their right hands as well? I declare that the motion has been unanimously carried. Thank you very much. We now move to item number 7, which is a resolution to renew the general mandate for related party transactions. The final item on the agenda is the resolution to renew the general mandate authorizing the company to enter into recurring related party transactions. I hereby propose that pursuant to the rule governing transactions with related parties or interested persons issued by the Nigerian Exchange Limited, the general mandate authorizing the company to enter into recurring related party transactions for day-to-day operations be renewed. Will a member please second this motion?
Chief Timothy Adesina. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief Adesina. You are looking so handsome. That's good. That's good. It's a vote of confidence in the elders. May I now put the motion to a vote? Please cast your votes as the registrar supervise.
Thank you very much, sir. If you are in favor of that resolution, please press 1. If you are against, please press 2. That is to renew the general mandate for related party transaction. We have 4 responses, 5 responses. Count down, please. Three seconds left. Time up. At the end of the voting on that resolution, we have 131 shareholders physically present and voting by proxy, with the total shares of 396,328,280. 100%, no against. Thank you.
Thank you very much, registrars. Following the results of the voting as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare the resolution carried unanimously. Distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, as there is no other business for which due statutory notice was given, I thank you all for attending and taking part in the affairs of our company, and I hereby declare the 12th annual general meeting of the company closed. May I invite Chief Timothy Adesina to lead us in a closing prayer.
Let us pray. Oh Lord, we thank you for the grace you have given us to be able to attend this meeting, and also the grace you have given us to move our company forward. Though we have challenges, but you, O Lord, have been above all these challenges. Glory be to thy name. And we thank you for the progress which this company is making. And we are praying that this progress shall continue to flourish. And all the plans which the company has in its oven shall continue to succeed. We thank you for the staff, management, and the board, and we pray that you, Lord, will continue to lead them aright. May tribulation, pandemic, sadness, or evil, may it never happen to any of them. And we, the shareholders too, shall continue to benefit from the profits of this company. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Thank you very much.
That's it.